She's screaming that I'm trespassing on my own family's farm. This woman, HOA president, perfectly polished, absolutely enraged, is in my face threatening to have me arrested if I don't leave my grandfather's 40 acres in 24 hours. I'm surrounded by green mountains and our crystal lake, completely blindsided. I inherited this 3 months ago. She shoves documents at me claiming the HOA bought my land through a tax foreclosure. $47,000. For property worth $2 million. Then I see them. Surveyor stakes everywhere, construction equipment, half-built homes. My stomach drops. She's already sold plots to 5 families for $180,000 each. Almost $1 million. From my stolen land. I never got any notices, I say. She smirks. Should have checked your mail. Turns and walks to her luxury SUV like she owns the place. Because apparently, legally, she thinks she does. I'm shaking, pure rage. She has no idea what's coming. She thinks this is over. She thinks I'll disappear. This woman just made the biggest mistake of her life. And I'm about to prove it. I'm standing on my family's 40-acre farm, breathing in pine and morning dew, when I hear gravel crunching behind me. Fast. Aggressive. A luxury SUV skids to a stop 20 feet away, door flying open before the engine dies. A woman storms toward me. Mid-40s. Brown power suit. Hair pulled back tight. Eyes blazing with fury. What the hell do you think you're doing? She screams. I blink. Excuse me. You're trespassing on community property. I'm calling the sheriff right now unless you leave immediately. My brain scrambles to catch up. Community property? This is my land. My grandfather's land. 40 acres of green mountains, crystal lake, endless sky. I inherited it 3 months ago. Ma'am, I think there's been a mistake. The only mistake is you being here. She's in my face now, jabbing her finger at my chest. I'm Margaret, HOA president of Mountain Vista Community Development. This property belongs to us. You have 24 hours to remove yourself and whatever junk you brought here, or I will have you arrested for trespassing and vandalism. Vandalism? I haven't touched anything except walk the trails. Then I see them. Behind her. Surveyor stakes. Dozens of them. Bright orange flags with numbers. Plot markers scattered across the meadow where my grandfather used to grow wildflowers. My stomach lurches. What are those? She smiles. Cold. Victorious. Survey markers. We're developing this land into premium vacation home sites. 5 plots sold already. Construction starts next week. The world tilts. I turn slowly, scanning the property. There's construction equipment parked near the lake. A bulldozer. Excavator. Piles of lumber. My lake. My grandfather's dock is already torn down, replaced with stakes marking a new foundation. You can't. This is my property. I have the deed. Margaret laughs. Actually laughs. She pulls a folder from under her arm, shoves documents at me. Official seals. County stamps. Legal jargon I can barely process. The HOA purchased this land through a tax foreclosure sale 18 months ago. Completely legal. You failed to pay property taxes. The county seized it. We bought it at auction for $47,000. It's ours now. If you had a problem with that, you should have showed up to contest it. $47,000. This land is worth over $2 million. I never got any notice. Not my problem. She snatches the papers back. You had your chance. The sale is final. We've already sold 5 plots at $180,000 each. Families are building their dream homes here. You're not going to ruin that because you couldn't be bothered to check your mail. My hands are shaking. Rage. Pure, white-hot rage flooding my veins. This land has been in my family for 90 years. And now it's not. She turns, walking back to her SUV. Over her shoulder. 24 hours. Then I'm filing charges. I stand there watching her drive away, dust cloud rising behind those expensive tires. I pull out my phone with trembling fingers. Something is very, very wrong here. What happened with the tax foreclosure? How did she steal my land? What's on that deed? I'm doing 80 on back roads toward the county recorder's office, knuckles white on the steering wheel. My grandfather's original deed sits on the passenger seat. Yellowed paper in a protective sleeve. Dated 1935. Free and clear. No liens. No mortgages. Nothing. The parking lot is nearly empty. I burst through the front doors, probably looking half crazed. The clerk glances up, startled. Can I help you? I need property records. Now. I slide my license across the counter, Recite the parcel number I've had memorized since I was 12. She types slowly. Too slowly. My leg won't stop bouncing. Her screen loads. She frowns. Oh, this property went through foreclosure. Show me. She hesitates, then turns the monitor. There it is. Tax foreclosure sale. 18 months ago. Property listed as delinquent for 3 years of unpaid taxes totaling $9,000. Except, that's the wrong address. I say, pointing. That's not even the right county road number. This says 4782 Mountain Vista Road. My property is 4287 Mountain Creek Drive. Completely different location. She leans closer. Her face goes pale. That's a clerical error. A major one. It's fraud. She doesn't argue. Just keeps scrolling. I see the auction record. Sale price, $47,000. Buyer, Mountain Vista HOA Community Development LLC. Margaret's signature on every single page. Pull up the tax records, I say. Show me what was actually owed. More typing. The account loads. Zero balance. Paid in full. Every year. My grandfather never missed a payment in his life, and after he passed, the estate lawyer handled everything until probate cleared. This doesn't make sense, she whispers. If there were no delinquent taxes, there shouldn't have been a foreclosure at all. Can you print everything? All of it. She nods, already hitting buttons. The printer whirs to life, spitting out page after page of evidence. I'm documenting everything on my phone too, photographing the screen, the documents, her notes. Who filed the initial foreclosure claim? I ask. She checks. County Tax Assessor's Office. Signed by. She trails off. Who? Richard Morrison. He's been the assessor for 6 years. I don't know that name. Yet. One more thing. Show me what happened after the sale. She pulls up the new surveys, the subdivision plans. My 40 acres carved into 8 plots. 5 already sold. The sale prices make me sick. Plot 1, $185,000. Plot 2, $180,000. Plot 3, $190,000. Plot 4, $175,000. Plot 5, $182,000. Total, $912,000. Margaret bought stolen land for $47,000 and flipped it for nearly $1 million in 6 months. This is organized crime, I say quietly. The clerk doesn't disagree. She hands me the stack of papers, her hand shaking slightly. You should talk to a lawyer. A good one. I'm already dialing. My friend Jake gave me a name months ago for something unrelated, Jackson Cross. Property litigation specialist. Reputation for absolutely destroying fraudulent land grabs. He answers on the second ring. Jackson Cross. Mr. Cross, my name is. Hold on. Background noise. A door closing. Okay, go ahead. I explain everything in 3 minutes. The foreclosure. The wrong address. The auction. Margaret. The plots. The $1 million scheme. Silence on the other end. Long silence. Mr. Cross. I'm here. I'm just. He exhales slowly. How fast can you get to my office? 40 minutes. Make it 30. Bring every document you have. We're going to bury her alive. My chest loosens slightly. First hint of hope. But I need to warn you. He continues, voice darker. Margaret Thompson has serious connections in this county. Money. Power. A husband who's a retired circuit judge. She will come at you with everything she has. This is going to get ugly. Expensive. Personal. Are you ready for that? I look at the documents in my hand. Evidence of theft. Corruption. My family's legacy sold off like spare parts. I'm ready. How deep does this fraud go? Can I afford a legal war? What will Margaret do next? 2 days later, I'm back on the property. Can't stay away. It's like watching someone desecrate a grave. I'm standing near the lake, photographing the construction equipment, when I hear a vehicle approach. Not Margaret's SUV. A sheriff's deputy. Patrol lights off, but rolling slow. He parks. Steps out. Young guy, maybe 30. Uncomfortable body language. Morning, I say. Morning. You the property owner? Was. AM. It's complicated. He nods slowly, pulls a folded paper from his belt. I'm sorry about this, but I have to serve you a restraining order. My blood goes cold. What? Margaret Thompson filed an emergency order yesterday. Claims you've been harassing her, making threats, acting erratically. Judge signed off this morning. He hands it over. I scan the document, vision blurring with rage. Temporary restraining order. Stay at least 500 feet from Margaret Thompson. Stay off the disputed property for 30 days pending hearing. Violation results in immediate arrest. This is insane. I never threatened her. I haven't even spoken to her since. I know. He cuts me off quietly. I know, man. This whole thing smells wrong to me too. But I'm just serving paper. Judge's orders. Can I at least show you proof this is my land? Won't matter for the order. You'll have to fight it in court. He shifts his weight. Look, off the record. Document everything. Get a lawyer. And be careful. Margaret Thompson doesn't lose battles in this county. He leaves me standing there, restraining order crumpling in my fist. I can't go on my own property for a month. I drive to the property line, park on the public easement, set up trail cameras facing inward. Legal. Barely. But I need eyes on what's happening. That night, my phone explodes. Facebook notification. Someone tagged me in the Mountain Vista community group. I click it, stomach already sinking. The post has my photo, my truck's license plate. A warning to the community. Scammer alert. This man is pretending to own HOA land and harassing our president. He's made threats and has been trespassing. If you see him, call police immediately. Do not engage. Protect your families. 300 comments already. People I've never met calling me a con artist. A thief. Dangerous. Mentally unstable. My phone starts ringing. Unknown numbers. I answer one. Heavy breathing. Then, you should leave town while you still can. Click. I block the number. It keeps happening. 6 more calls. Threats. Curses. One woman screaming that I'm trying to steal from hardworking families. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely dial Jackson. They're attacking me, I say when he answers. Restraining order. Facebook smear campaign. Harassment calls. I saw the post. His voice is tight with anger. We're filing defamation suits. But first, check your trail cameras. Do it now. I pull up the app on my phone. The footage from today loads. My breath catches. There. Evening light. Margaret's standing on my property with a man in a county jacket. They're laughing. Shaking hands. He passes her an envelope. The body language is unmistakable. This isn't official business. This is conspiracy. Are you seeing this? Jackson asks. Yeah. Who's the man? I zoom in on his jacket. County tax assessor logo. Richard Morrison, the assessor who filed the fraudulent foreclosure. Jackson is quiet for exactly 3 seconds. Forward me that footage. Right now? She just handed us the entire case. I'm about to respond when my phone buzzes. Another call. Unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answer. Heavy breathing again. Then a voice, digitally distorted. Drop this, or you'll regret it. The line goes dead. Who's threatening me? Is the tax assessor in on it? How far will Margaret go? Next morning, I'm driving to the hardware store when red and blue lights flash in my rearview. My heart rate spikes. I haven't done anything wrong. Speed limit exact. Brake lights functional. Registration current. I pull over. The officer approaches slowly. Hand near his weapon. Aggressive posture. License and registration. I hand them over. Hands visible, movements careful. What's the problem, officer? You were swerving. I absolutely was not. Step out of the vehicle. This is harassment. I know it. He knows it. But I comply because I'm not getting shot over Margaret's vendetta. He searches my truck. Takes his time. Tears through my glove box, under seats, truck bed. Finds nothing because there's nothing to find. 90 minutes on the side of the road. No ticket issued. Drive safe, he says, walking away. I sit there shaking with rage and adrenaline. That afternoon, my bank calls. Mr. Johnson, we've received a report of suspicious activity on your account. We're freezing your assets pending investigation. What suspicious activity? I can't disclose details. You'll receive documentation within 5 business days. This is my operating account. I have bills. I understand, sir. But federal regulations require us to. I hang up. Call Jackson immediately. They froze my bank account. Of course they did. He sounds exhausted. Margaret has connections everywhere. Her husband's a retired judge. Her brother works in county administration. She's weaponizing every government agency she can access. IRS, police, banks. Textbook intimidation. What do? Document everything. File complaints. And hold on, because it's about to get worse. He's right. 2 days later, I get a letter from the IRS. Random audit. All income from the past 3 years. Report to their office within 14 days with complete documentation. Then the hate mail starts. Physical letters to my apartment. No return address. Thief. Con artist. Leave or else. I file police reports. They take statements. Do nothing. I'm drowning. Legal battles on 4 fronts. Bank account frozen. I can barely pay rent. IRS demanding records I don't have organized. Restraining order keeping me from my own land. Online harassment destroying my reputation. I haven't slept in 3 days. I sit in my truck outside the property fence, watching construction crews frame walls for vacation homes on my grandfather's meadow. Heavy equipment tearing up earth where wildflowers used to grow. Margaret drives by. Slow. Deliberate. Makes eye contact through my windshield. She smiles. She's won, and she knows it. I lean my head against the steering wheel, eyes burning. Maybe I should just give up. Take whatever settlement they offer. Walk away. Start over somewhere else. Then I remember my grandfather's last words in the hospital 3 months before he died. His hand squeezing mine, voice barely a whisper. This land has been in our family for 90 years. Don't you dare let anyone take it. I wipe my eyes. Sit up straight. If Margaret wants war, I'll give her war. But I'll fight smart. Patient. Legal. I pull out my phone. Start making a list of every attack, every harassment, every threat. Dates. Times. Names. She's left a trail. She doesn't realize it yet, but every move she makes is evidence. And I'm collecting all of it. Can I survive this attack? What's my next move? How do I prove the conspiracy? Jackson's office is downtown. 3rd floor. Glass walls overlooking the courthouse. I walk in carrying 2 boxes of documents. Everything. Bank statements. Tax records. Photos. Videos. Timelines written on legal pads at 3 a.m. when sleep wouldn't come. Jackson's behind his desk with 2 other people. A woman in her 50s, sharp-eyed, laptop open. A man in jeans and a worn jacket, weathered face, skeptical expression. This is Sandra, Jackson says. Forensic accountant. And Derek, private investigator. Best in the state. They're going to help us destroy Margaret Thompson. We spread everything across the conference table. It looks like a murder board. Red strings connecting events would complete the picture. Sandra dives into the financial records first. Pulls up Margaret's HOA corporate filings. Cross-references with county sale records. 3 hours later, she leans back, removing her glasses. She's done this before. The room goes still. 3 other properties in the past 2 years. Same exact playbook. File false tax liens through Richard Morrison at the assessor's office. Properties go to auction. Mountain Vista HOA buys them for pennies. Flips them for massive profit. How much total? Jackson asks. Sandra checks her notes. $4.2 million. Across 4 properties, including yours. I feel sick. And it's all connected, she continues. Shell companies. LLCs with identical ownership structures. Money flowing through fake consulting fees to Morrison, the county clerk, and, she pauses. Judge Martin Herschel. The judge who signed my restraining order? I ask. No. Different judge. But Herschel handled 2 of the previous foreclosure cases. Rubber-stamped everything. He received $20,000 in consulting fees from one of Margaret's development companies 6 months later. That's bribery, Jackson says quietly. That's a RICO case, Sandra corrects. Derek, the PI, has been silent until now. The problem is proof. These people are careful. Shell companies are legal. Consulting fees are legal. We need someone on the inside to flip. Or we need Margaret to make a mistake. Then we create the opportunity for a mistake, I say. They all look at me. I've been documenting everything. Trail cameras. Recordings. What if we give her more rope? Let her think she's winning. Derek nods slowly. Keep playing victim while we dig. I like it. Over the next 2 weeks, Derek becomes a ghost. He's everywhere and nowhere. Surveilling Margaret. Following money trails. Talking to construction workers at the site. Then he catches a break. A worker named Tommy. Mid-30s. Good guy. Uncomfortable with the whole job. Derek buys him dinner at a diner 40 miles outside town. Tommy talks. Tells Derek that Margaret held a private meeting with the 5 families who bought plots. Reassured them the land was technically complicated, but completely legal. That the previous owner, me, was just a disgruntled relative with no claim. But here's the key. Tommy recorded it. On his phone. For his own protection. Derek calls me at midnight. We have her. Audio recording. Margaret's voice, clear as day, admitting the ownership was contested but promising them it's handled. Can we use it legally? Washington's a two-party consent state for recordings, but Tommy was a participant in the conversation. It's admissible. Jackson files everything with the FBI and State Attorney General the next morning. Fraud, conspiracy, racketeering, wire fraud, bribery, federal charges. We don't tell Margaret it's coming. Will the worker testify? Can we protect him? What happens when Margaret finds out? FBI raids happen at dawn. I'm parked 3 blocks away, watching. 6 black SUVs. 15 agents. They hit Margaret's HOA office first, then her house. I can see her front door from here. She comes outside in a bathrobe, screaming at agents in tactical vests. They're polite but relentless, carrying out boxes of documents. Computer towers. Filing cabinets. Her neighbors are watching. Phones out. Recording everything. Within an hour, news vans arrive. By noon, it's the lead story on every local channel. HOA president accused of multi-million-dollar land fraud scheme. My phone won't stop buzzing. The community Facebook group that destroyed me 2 weeks ago is now flooded with comments. Shock. Apologies. People saying they knew something was wrong. The 5 families who bought plots are panicking. Their posts are desperate, asking if their homes are legal, if they'll lose their investments, if they're victims or accomplices. I almost feel bad for them. They trusted Margaret, handed over their life savings for dream retirement properties. But they also never questioned how land sold so cheap in such a prime location. Margaret's lawyer releases a statement by evening. Ms. Thompson maintains her innocence and will vigorously fight these baseless allegations. This is a witch hunt motivated by a disgruntled individual with a personal vendetta. But cracks are forming. Richard Morrison, the tax assessor, resigns the next morning. Effective immediately. No explanation. The county clerk takes sudden medical leave. They're flipping, cutting deals to save themselves. Jackson files an emergency motion to void all property sales and return ownership to me. We're assigned a new judge, Judge Patricia Mills. No connection to Margaret. Clean record. The hearing is 48 hours later. Judge Mills reviews everything. The fraudulent foreclosure filing. The wrong address. The proof of paid taxes. The video of Margaret and Morrison. The audio recording. She doesn't need long. All sales are hereby voided. Property ownership returns immediately to the original owner. All construction ceases pending criminal proceedings. Margaret Thompson is liable for damages to be determined at trial. Margaret's lawyer tries to object. Judge Mills shuts him down with a look. Counselor, your client orchestrated one of the most egregious fraud schemes I've seen in 30 years on the bench. Save your arguments for the criminal trial. Temporary injunction granted. All construction stops. Effective immediately. I drive to the property that evening. It's silent. Equipment abandoned mid-task. Half-built frames standing skeletal against the sunset. Orange construction tape fluttering in the wind. I walk past all of it down to the lake. The water's still. Glass smooth. Mountains reflected perfectly. Same view my grandfather saw every morning for 60 years. I sit on the rocky shore. And I cry. Not from sadness. From relief. From rage finally releasing after weeks of pressure. From realizing I'm actually going to win. But I know it's not over. Criminal trial is coming. Civil damages. Margaret won't go quietly. This is just the beginning of the end. Will Margaret escape charges? What about the families who bought plots? Is there another twist coming? The civil trial starts 3 months later on a Tuesday morning. Cold. Gray sky, threatening rain. The courtroom is packed. Media in the back rows. The 5 families who bought plots sitting together, looking sick with worry. Margaret's supporters, fewer than before, scattered throughout. Jackson beside me at the plaintiff's table, perfectly calm. Margaret walks in wearing designer clothes. Head high, playing the victim. Her lawyer is aggressive from the opening statement. Claims I abandoned the property. Ignored tax notices. That I'm an opportunist trying to profit from a legitimate business transaction. They attack my grandfather's estate handling. Suggest the deed is questionable. That I'm lying about the timeline. It's brutal. Calculated. Designed to make me look incompetent and greedy. But Jackson is a surgeon. He stands slowly. Approaches the evidence table. Picks up my grandfather's deed. Your Honor, this document dates to 1935. Recorded. Notarized. Uncontested for 90 years. There is no question about ownership. He presents the tax records. Paid in full. Every single year. 0 delinquencies. Then he shows the fraudulent foreclosure filing. The wrong address. Different county road number. Completely fabricated delinquency. This, Jackson says, holding up the document, is not a clerical error. This is intentional fraud designed to steal property worth $2 million for $47,000. Margaret's lawyer objects. Overruled. Jackson calls his first witness, Tommy, the construction worker. Tommy takes the stand, nervous but determined. He describes the private meeting with Margaret and the 5 families. She told them the land ownership was complicated but legal, that the previous owner had no legitimate claim. Did you believe her? Jackson asks. Tommy hesitates. No, sir. Something felt wrong. That's why I recorded it. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Judge Mills calls for order. Jackson plays the audio. Margaret's voice, crystal clear, echoing through speakers. The previous owner never even knew what hit him. By the time he figures it out, if he figures it out, we'll have everything sold and developed. He can't touch us. Laughter on the recording. Margaret's laughter. I watch her face drain of color. Her lawyer is frantically whispering to her. She's shaking her head, panicking. Next, Jackson presents the financial records. Sandra, the forensic accountant, takes the stand. Walks the jury through the shell companies. The money laundering. The pattern of fraud across 4 properties. Margaret Thompson and her associates have stolen over $4 million in property through systematic fraud over 2 years. Then the smoking gun. Jackson plays the trail camera footage. Margaret and Richard Morrison on my property. Evening light. Handshake. Envelope passing between them. This video was recorded 1 week after the foreclosure sale. Mr. Morrison, as county tax assessor, had just facilitated the fraudulent seizure of my client's property. Here, we see him receiving payment. Margaret's lawyer stands. Objection. That could be anything. There's no audio, no proof of. We have Mr. Morrison's sworn testimony. Jackson interrupts. He's cooperating with federal prosecutors. That envelope contained $15,000 in cash. Bribe money for his role in the fraud. The courtroom is dead silent. Judge Mills leans forward, staring at Margaret with pure disgust. Mrs. Thompson, in 30 years on this bench, this is the most egregious case of fraud I have witnessed. The evidence is overwhelming. The conspiracy is clear. Margaret stands up, face red. This is a witch hunt. That man is lying. Sit down, Judge Mills says, voice like ice. Security moves toward Margaret. She sits, shaking. I'm ruling immediately. All property sales are void. Full ownership returns to the plaintiff. Margaret Thompson is liable for damages, punitive and compensatory, to be determined after hearing arguments. Margaret's lawyer tries to speak. Judge Mills silences him with a look. Furthermore, I'm recommending criminal charges if they haven't been filed already. This court is adjourned. The gavel strikes. Margaret collapses into her chair, sobbing. It's over. What's the damage amount? Will she go to prison? What happens to the families? The damages hearing is 2 weeks later. Shorter. Focused. Jackson presents the case. Lost property value. Emotional distress. Legal fees. Punitive damages for willful fraud. He's asking for $3.2 million. Margaret's lawyer argues she doesn't have that kind of money, that she'll be bankrupted, that the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Judge Mills doesn't buy it. Mrs. Thompson profited nearly $1 million from this single fraud alone. Forensic evidence shows over $4 million across multiple schemes. She has assets. She has property. She will pay. Final ruling, $2.8 million. Margaret's personal assets frozen. HOA dissolved. All funds distributed. First to me, then to the 5 families as restitution. Margaret sits stone-faced, defeated. But the criminal trial is the real endgame. Federal court. 2 months later. Margaret, Richard Morrison, and County Clerk Linda Hayes all charged. Conspiracy. Fraud. Bribery. Racketeering under RICO statutes. I testify on day 3. 6 hours on the stand. I tell everything. The ambush on my property. The restraining order. The harassment. The frozen bank account. The trail of corruption. The jury listens, rapt. Margaret's defense tries to paint her as a businesswoman who made mistakes. That she relied on bad advice from Morrison. That she didn't know the foreclosure was fraudulent. But the audio recording destroys that narrative. Her own voice, laughing about stealing my land. The prosecution presents emails between Margaret and Morrison. Detailed plans. Specific properties targeted. Dollar amounts discussed. This wasn't a mistake. It was a criminal enterprise. Jury deliberates for 2 days. I don't sleep. Can't eat. Just wait. The call comes on a Thursday afternoon. Verdict is in. The courtroom is packed again. Margaret walks in pale, thinner, aged 10 years and 6 months. Has the jury reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor. The forewoman stands. Reads from the paper in her shaking hand. On the count of conspiracy to commit fraud, guilty. On the count of wire fraud, guilty. On the count of bribery, guilty. On the count of racketeering, guilty. Margaret collapses. Her lawyer catches her. She's sobbing, gasping, hyperventilating. Morrison and Hayes, guilty on all counts. Sentencing is immediate. Judge, federal this time, stern woman named Judge Carolyn Black, shows no mercy. Mrs. Thompson, you orchestrated a sophisticated criminal conspiracy that destroyed lives and corrupted public institutions. You showed no remorse. No conscience. Only greed. Margaret Thompson, 7 years federal prison. Richard Morrison, 5 years. Linda Hayes, 3 years. Margaret screams. Actual screaming. Security has to restrain her as she's led away in handcuffs. I watch her disappear through the courtroom doors. 7 years. Her perfect life, gone. Husband filed for divorce 2 months ago. Friends abandoned her. Reputation destroyed. Everything she built collapsed. I feel nothing. No satisfaction. No joy. Just exhaustion. Outside the courthouse, Jackson shakes my hand. You did it. You actually did it. We did it, I correct. The 5 families approach cautiously. Apologetic. They're getting their money back from the frozen HOA accounts. They're victims too, even if they should have asked questions. I shake their hands. No hard feelings. They were manipulated by a professional con artist. The news runs the verdict as breaking news. HOA president convicted in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. My phone explodes with messages. Support. Congratulations. Interview requests. I ignore them all. I just want to go home. To my land. Is there final closure? What about the community? What happens next? 6 months after the verdict, I'm standing on my property at dawn. Coffee steaming in my hand. Mountains turning gold with sunrise. Construction debris is gone. Equipment removed. The half-built vacation home's demolished. Grass is growing back where bulldozers tore earth. It's healing. So am I. I've established a conservation trust for the entire 40 acres. Legal. Permanent. Irrevocable. No one can ever develop this land. No one can ever sell it. Protected in perpetuity. My grandfather's legacy, secured forever. But I'm not keeping it private. That's not what this land is for. I've created public trails through the property. Hiking paths. Fishing access on the lake. Picnic areas in the meadows. Anyone can visit. Families. Kids. Elderly couples. Everyone. I named it Grandfather's Rest Conservation Area. Small wooden signs mark the trails. People come every weekend now. I watch from my rebuilt cabin as children chase each other through wildflowers. As couples walk hand in hand along the lake shore. As elderly veterans sit on benches, just breathing mountain air. This is what my grandfather wanted. Land that's loved. Shared. Protected. A woman approaches my cabin one Saturday morning. Elderly. 70s maybe. Crying. Are you the owner? She asks. Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to thank you. Her voice breaks. I lost my home 5 years ago. Similar situation. HOA corruption. Fraudulent foreclosure. I never fought back. I was too scared. Too broke. I've regretted it every day since. She grips my hand. Watching you fight, watching you win. It gave me hope that justice still exists. I don't know what to say. I just hold her hand. I'm going to talk to a lawyer, she continues. Maybe it's not too late for me too. I give her Jackson's card. Tell him I sent you. He'll help. She leaves crying. But different crying. Hopeful crying. This happens more now. People sharing their stories. HOA nightmares. Corrupt officials. Stolen property. Bullies with power who crush ordinary people. I listen to all of them. Help when I can. The local school district contacts me. They want to bring students for environmental education programs. Science classes. History lessons about land conservation. I say yes immediately. Watching third graders explore the lake, learn about wildlife, laugh in the meadows. That's the real victory. This land teaching future generations. I plant an oak tree near my grandfather's grave on the East Hill. Family plot. Simple headstone. I kneel beside it, hand on the earth. We did it, Grandpa. The land is safe. Your legacy continues. The oak sapling is tiny now, but it'll grow for 100 years. Maybe 200. Roots deep in soil that can never be stolen. I stand, looking out over 40 acres of green mountains, crystal lake, endless sky. This is peace. Real peace. Is this really over? What's the final message? What happens long term? My story goes viral 6 months later. Some YouTube channel covers it. Then news outlets pick it up. Then social media. Suddenly, millions of people know about Margaret Thompson's fraud scheme. About the HOA corruption. About how I fought back and won. Comments flood in. Thousands of them. People sharing their own battles against HOAs. Corrupt county officials. Land grabs. Foreclosure scams. The outrage is real. The solidarity is overwhelming. Jackson's phone rings nonstop. Victims from across the country wanting help. Similar stories. Same playbook. Different villains. He starts a nonprofit legal fund, Property Rights Defense Initiative, focused on helping people fight fraudulent foreclosures and HOA corruption. I donate $500,000 from my settlement. Seed money. Within a year, we've helped 3 families recover stolen land. 2 more cases are in litigation. The fund is growing. Then something unexpected happens. A state representative contacts me. Her name is Angela Martinez. Progressive. Passionate about property rights reform. Your case exposed massive systemic problems, she says over coffee. I want to introduce legislation. Stricter foreclosure notification requirements. Transparency in county land sales. Criminal penalties for officials who participate in fraud. What do you need from me? Testimony. At the state capitol. Tell your story to the legislature. I'm not a public speaker. I'm a guy who just wanted his grandfather's land back. But I go. The Capitol building is intimidating. Marble floors. High ceilings. Politicians in expensive suits. I testify before the Housing and Property Rights Committee. 30 minutes. I tell them everything. The fraudulent foreclosure. The corruption. The harassment. The legal battle. I end with this. What happened to me can happen to anyone. Margaret Thompson wasn't a criminal genius. She was just a greedy person who exploited weak systems. If we don't fix those systems, there will be more Margarets. More families destroyed. More land stolen. Silence in the chamber. Then applause. Actual applause from legislators. The bill passes committee unanimously. Moves to full legislature. Passes both chambers with bipartisan support. Governor signs it 3 months later. The media nicknames it the Mountain Vista Reform Act. I'm at the signing ceremony. Awkward in a borrowed suit. But proud. Real change. Systemic change. Because I refuse to give up. My case becomes a teaching example in law schools. Property law courses. Ethics classes. What not to do. How fraud gets exposed. Why documentation matters. I'm invited to speak at a national property rights conference. 2,000 attendees. Lawyers. Activists. Landowners fighting their own battles. I'm terrified. But I speak for 20 minutes. They expect you to give up. They count on you being too tired. Too broke. Too scared. Margaret Thompson counted on that. She was wrong. I pause, looking out at faces wrapped with attention. Document everything. Every conversation. Every threat. Every inconsistency. Find good lawyers. Find allies. Stay smart. Stay legal. And never, ever let them take what's yours without a fight. Standing ovation. People crying. Afterward, a man approaches. Weathered hands. Farmer. He grips my shoulder. Your story saved my family's farm, he says, voice thick. I was about to give up. Sign the settlement. Walk away. Then I saw your interview. I hired a lawyer instead. We won last month. A woman behind him. I'm filing charges against my HOA tomorrow because of you. This is bigger than my 40 acres now. It's a movement. How far will this go? What's my final role? Is there lasting impact? 2 years after Margaret goes to prison, I'm working in my cabin when the mail arrives. Standard stuff mostly. Conservation, trust paperwork. Donation receipts for the legal fund. Then I see it. Hand-addressed envelope. Federal prison return address. My hands shake opening it. It's from Margaret. I almost throw it away unread. Almost. But something makes me look. The letter is typed. Professional. Cold. Dear Mr. Johnson, I understand I'll be eligible for early release with good behavior in 3 months. The parole board hearing is scheduled for August 14th. I'm writing to request your support. A letter from you would carry significant weight. I've spent 2 years reflecting on my mistakes. I've completed rehabilitation programs. Counseling. I understand the harm I caused. I'm a changed person. I hope you can find it in your heart to support my release so I can rebuild my life and make amends. Respectfully, Margaret Thompson. I read it 3 times. Then I read between the lines. The tone isn't apologetic. It's calculated. The word mistakes instead of crimes. The phrase harm I caused without specifics. No actual apology. No acknowledgement of the systematic fraud. And at the bottom, almost hidden in the formal language, a subtle threat. I have many friends who remember the situation differently. People who don't forget. I hope we can resolve this matter cooperatively. Translation: support my release or face consequences. My jaw clenches. I forward the letter to Jackson immediately. He calls within 10 minutes. This is witness intimidation. Subtle, but clear. Can we do anything? Already on it. Contacting the FBI. They investigate. Pull Margaret's prison phone records. She's been calling former associates. Nothing explicitly illegal, but the pattern is concerning. Planning something. The parole board schedules a hearing. I'm asked to testify. I take 2 days off, drive 6 hours to the state prison. The hearing room is institutional. Fluorescent lights. Cheap furniture. Margaret sitting across from the parole board, looking older, harder. Prison has aged her. She gives her speech. Rehearsed. Remorseful. Talks about rehabilitation. Lessons learned. Taking responsibility. She never looks at me. Then it's my turn. I stand. Pull out photographs. My land before her theft. During construction. After reclamation. Margaret Thompson didn't make mistakes. She orchestrated a criminal conspiracy that spanned years and destroyed multiple families. She bribed government officials. She harassed victims. She weaponized legal systems against innocent people. I hold up her letter. 2 weeks ago, she sent me this. It's disguised as a request for support, but read carefully, it's a threat. She's not rehabilitated. She's angry she got caught. She's planning her next move. Margaret's face flushes red. She starts to speak. The board chairwoman silences her. She had everything: money, status, power. She chose greed. She chose cruelty. She showed no mercy to her victims. She deserves none now. I sit down. The board deliberates 45 minutes. Decision: parole denied. Margaret will serve her full sentence. For more years minimum. She stands up screaming, calling me a liar, threatening legal action. Security has to physically remove her from the hearing room. I watch her being dragged away, still screaming. I feel nothing, just tired. Outside, Jackson is waiting. It's really over now, he says. Yeah, it is. Is there final peace? How do I move forward? What's the last chapter? 5 years after the nightmare began, I'm sitting on my cabin porch watching sunset paint the mountains purple and gold. The lake is glass, perfect mirror of sky and peaks. Eagles circle overhead, riding thermals. My dog Scout, a rescue I adopted 2 years ago, sleeps at my feet, paws twitching with dreams. Life is quiet now. Good quiet. The kind my grandfather loved. The Conservation Trust is thriving. Over 12,000 visitors last year. Families, school groups, veterans seeking peace, artists capturing beauty on canvas. The educational programs expanded. We host summer camps now. Teach kids about wildlife, conservation, property rights. The next generation learning to protect what matters. 3 more families recovered stolen land using my case as precedent. Jackson's nonprofit has gone national. 15 full-time lawyers. Over 50 cases active. Margaret serves her full sentence. For more years behind bars. I don't think about her much anymore. She's irrelevant. A cautionary tale. A ghost of corruption past. The community fully embraced me. I serve on the county land use board now. Preventing future fraud. Protecting other families. Full circle. My story still circulates online. Still inspires people fighting their own battles. I get messages weekly. I answer when I can. Offer advice. Share Jackson's contact information. Pay it forward. The property is exactly what it should be. Wild. Protected. Shared. Loved. I built a small visitors center near the main trail. Hired a part-time ranger. Tommy, the construction worker who recorded Margaret. He's perfect for the job. Loves this land almost as much as I do. Kids come for field trips. Couples get married by the lake. Artists paint the meadows at golden hour. Veterans sit on benches, finally finding silence. This land gives joy now instead of pain. As the sun disappears behind the peaks, turning snow-capped summits into flame, I think about how close I came to losing everything. How easy it would have been to give up, to accept Margaret's lies, to sign a settlement and walk away broken. But my grandfather didn't raise a quitter. This land has roots in my family going back 90 years. Now it's protected for generations more. My future kids will walk these trails. Their kids will fish this lake. The oak tree I planted will grow tall and strong, roots deep in soil that can never be stolen. I raise my coffee mug to the mountains, same mountains my grandfather saw every morning for 60 years. We did it, Grandpa. We won. Scout stirs, looks up at me with trusting eyes. I scratch behind his ears. Peace. Real, earned, hard-fought peace. The kind you only find after walking through fire. The kind worth every sleepless night, every legal battle, every moment of doubt. Margaret Thompson tried to steal my legacy. Instead, she made it stronger. Made me stronger. This land isn't just mine anymore. It belongs to everyone who fought beside me. Everyone who refused to let corruption win. Everyone who believes justice still matters. The mountains stand eternal. The lake reflects infinite sky. And I'm home. Finally, truly home. If this story moved you, if it made you angry, if it gave you hope, drop a comment below. Have you faced HOA corruption? Property theft? Bullies with power who thought they were untouchable? Share your story. You're not alone. We're building a community of people who refuse to be victims, who fight back, who win. And if you know someone facing a similar battle, share this video. Sometimes people just need to know it's possible to win. That justice still exists if you're willing to fight for it. Subscribe for more stories of ordinary people defeating extraordinary corruption. Because these stories matter. Your story matters. Justice is possible. Never stop fighting for what's yours.